Genbo the Dishonored is taking Raid by storm. He's becoming one of the most common champions that you will see in pretty much all content. Why is that? Because Amazon Prime has a special giveaway, as many of you know, where if you are subscribed to Amazon Prime, you get different gifts as time goes on. What is the current gift? That is, you get a free Genbo the Dishonored. So what am I going to do here today? I'm going to give you the best build for this guy. You're going to dominate everything. This is an incredible champion that we are getting as a free gift if you are a part of the Amazon program, or if you just happen to pull him. This guy is going to carry so hard. So let's dive into it and get you the perfect build for this champion. What up team, it's MurderInc here. We are talking about Genbo Dishonored, how to build him, how to dominate in all content. We have a Shadowkin champion, epic, attack based. Listen, this guy's kit is beautiful. I'm not going to bore you with what his kit does. There's only a few things you really have to pay attention to in his kit overall here. The first thing is going to be the 20% speed aura for the arena. Huge. Passive will ignore unkillable buffs when attacking while under increase attack, which is going to be common, and he's immune to decrease attacks. You cannot stop this guy. Another really cool thing is going to be his A3 places increased crit rate and increased crit damage on this champion for 3 turns, then gives him an extra turn. So what does that mean? If you followed this channel at all, you already know how important 100% crit rate is. Now you can build this guy with 70% crit rate because you have an amazing crit rate buff that will always be on this guy. And on top of that, increased crit damage, giving you so much more potential for how you can build this guy. The other cool part's the A2. This effect cannot be resisted. What effect? Decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. Other than that, his A1's okay. Once again, it cannot be resisted, so we don't have to build this guy with any accuracy at all. So let's start the building process right now. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be, he's not going to be built like, I would say, your average damage dealing champion. I just did a video on how to build the perfect damage dealing champion. This guy is one of those rare exceptions where you can still kind of understand how to build this guy from that video, but it's better to be more specific when talking about someone like Genbo. What's the main draw for a champion like this? It's the fact that he ignores unkillable. What champions are incredibly annoying for unkillable? Leorius. If you fight a Leorius, I mean, many players just skip teams with Leorius in the defense. You don't have to worry about that at all with this guy. The same thing applies for Skullcrown. Skullcrown has been terrorizing the arena for the 4 years I've been playing this game. With this guy, not a problem anymore. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start with a banner here. We're going full on attack. Now I'm going to try not to use too much equipped gear, so I'm going to take what's available to me. What you want to look for is as much speed as possible. This is why it's a little bit different than what was recommended in the other videos. It was noted, like I mentioned, because speed tuning is a thing, but for this, we're not too much worried about speed tuning. We want to make this guy fast enough so he's never getting cut off and he's always going first, so he does in fact have the chance to pretty much slice the heads off of all of the enemies you are facing so they do not get a chance to get a turn. Other teams, it's fine to pair your damage dealer with a tanky champion just in case you get cut off, but for this guy, you just don't want it to happen, so there's a huge emphasis on speed. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this triple attack banner on. It would be much better if I had triple speed on this or double speed, but you're looking for attack on the banner, attack percent, and as many speed rolls as possible. The next thing we do want, of course, is going to be crit damage. You can also elect to go with flat attack here. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. Since he's giving himself an increased crit rate and crit damage buff, and he scales and only works with increased attack on himself, which is easy to do if you pair him with an Arbiter. You have many options as to how you can gear this guy. Usually, in most cases, and I'm not going to say for everybody, but for most cases for sure, it's ideal to stack as much attack as possible because it's very easy to hit a high crit damage number However, when looking for that sweet spot of attack versus crit damage, you're almost always lacking on attack even with an increased attack buff. So if you do happen to get lucky, most people don't do this or roll gear like this, but if you have an attack necklace with a triple or quad roll for crit damage, that would be amazing. But for the majority of players, you're going to be running crit damage, looking for as many attack rolls as possible. As you can see here, I have 2 rolls into attack. Accuracy doesn't matter. If you can get defense and HP, that would be great as well for a little bit more survivability, but it is what it is. Moving on to the ring here, pretty self-explanatory. We want attack with attack percent here. So anything I can find, there's a double roll there. Double roll and glyph, you know we're locking that in for sure. As far as the gear sets go, one thing I did just mention is we're looking for an emphasis on speed. So with speed, I'm first going to be looking into the savage gear. What do I have available to myself here? Well, attack percent boots would be amazing. I would hit incredibly hard for sure. I really do want to look for a pair of speed boots. It looks like I don't have any in the savage set available. So I'm going to move on to the chest piece. I have a perfect savage chest piece here. Let's go ahead. Attack percent, crit damage, crit rate going to be beautiful here. Now we want crit damage with crit rate on the gloves if we can get it. So I'm going to elect to use the first one since it has a double crit rate roll. If it had speed on it, it would have been even better. So now we only need 2 more pieces, and I'm really looking for speed because I've been struggling getting any type of speed pieces thus far, and it's looking like I'm going to fall short once again, although this one is not bad. So what I'm going to do is, since there's so many options, I'm going to flick it onto the fitting room so I'm not wasting silver here. Try this one on since it does have a double speed roll. Take a look at my stats. Decent attack, decent crit damage, and I am 20 crit rate away from where I want to be. So I can absolutely make that up with the following 2 pieces, but I'm going to head straight to the speed pieces and see what I have available. Not a huge selection here for sure. So by putting this piece on in itself, if I elect to go with this helmet, I'm pretty much capping myself with crit rate right off the bat. So it does look like I'm lacking on so much speed gear. I do have to hit the equip button and just see what I'm wearing that I can afford to kind of swap off for this showcase here. And there are tons of champions that I know for a fact that I'm not using. And while we're on this, let me just go ahead and put speed boots here. We're going to click speed, and we're going to be looking for crit damage and attack percent in the speed set for sure. Of course, it's only 1 pair, and it's the one I'm using for my clan boss team, so I cannot take that for sure. Let's head down to savage, see what's available, and once again, another vital piece for another vital champion that I use that I cannot swap out. So like I said before, attack's almost always going to fall behind, so I'm simply going to click off crit damage, see what champions I have, and it just opened up an entire pool here. I know for a fact that I don't use Stag Knight anymore. I use Dracomorph. Definitely don't use Lysandra, but not too many good rolls as far as that goes. Lady Kimi, don't use her too often. Samar, definitely don't use him. But once again, this has so much crit rate on it. So I am now 1% crit short of where I would want to be. And the same thing applies here, but I am getting slightly more attack out of what I'm wearing. So you know what, we are just going to go with it. Let's go ahead and reset the stats. And now all I'm looking for is a shield. And let me just click this weapon off really quickly. We want to find 1 more piece, speed, crit damage, and attack percent on the best item we can find here. Let's start with helmet, double accuracy roll. It's already going to be out of the question for sure here. This is a pretty solid helmet, but let's just take a look here. Hey, look, triple speed roll. I'm loving it already. I really am. So let's go ahead, try this piece on for now and see if we can fill out the rest with savage gear. The savage gear is going to be a bit harder. It's a niche set, hard to farm, very powerful stats here, and it looks like speed is going to be my enemy here. So 200 speed isn't the worst, but I really do want more. So I'm going to once again find myself in a predicament. Do I go with crit damage or do I go with attack? I'm currently at 5,105 attack and 228 crit damage. I know I'm getting an additional 30% crit damage on top of that, so it's going to help out for sure. And he's also going to have the increased attack buff, which buffs it by 50%. 100% of course. So as of right now, what it's looking like I'm lacking most is in fact going to be crit damage. So I'm going to elect to go with crit damage here and just find whatever pieces I can throw on. And this comes at the heavy cost, of course, of trying to put speed with the set that's mostly made for damage dealers. So the last thing I have to think about as I'm going through this is I need 14 more crit rate to make sure he's at an even 70%. So if I do use this Royal Guard's helmet here, I have to get 14 crit no matter what. So let's go ahead and select crit and see what our options are. This is 17% crit, decent amount of speed. We also get a little bit of crit damage as well. And from the small looks of it, that's probably going to be our best bet. How much closer to 14% can we really get from that? There's 19, there's 13. Even if it's just one short, it's not good enough for this channel. You guys already know 100% crit rate's perfect. This is 99, so this is a no-go. We're gonna go with Mashald here. Pretty sure Mashald's in one of my dungeon teams, but just to get this up and rolling, we are going to use this for sure. So what is this going to do? 5,100 attack, 229 speed, which is definitely pretty quick for a champion that, let's be honest, is a nuker. How often do you see nukers at 229 speed? They usually at 200 max, 190, 180 is the more common area to see them for sure here. But keep in mind we are getting 30% crit damage, putting us at 283% crit damage, and we're going to have an attack up buff, which is going to be very substantial. And the last thing I don't have for this champion is going to be Mastery as well. So one thing I can do, if I really want to find a really cool workaround for this, is I can go back to the 1% crit rate below, if I can even find the piece. Okay, here's that piece. I'm losing 1 speed for 8 crit damage. Hey, we're taking that any day of the week here. So with this, the crit damage is sitting in a very good spot for sure here. And while it isn't my best gear, this is going to be a crazy damage build for sure. So we're going to go ahead and equip this gear. Now we're going to go over to our masteries. The next question is going to be, what type of masteries do we want for this champion? We're going for the typical one-shot huge nuke on this guy. So we're going to start with crit rate because we need it. If you don't need crit rate, you would just go ahead and take a blade disciple. Now we're going to take Keen Strike, Heart of Glory, then we're going to go all the way to the rights if you want to, and aim for Ruthless Ambush, because let's be honest, as good as Single Out is, the goal here is to just simply annihilate anyone we come in contact with. So we're going to go ahead and take these 2 abilities for sure here. Now you get to pick, do you want a chance to reset the cooldown? That can be good, but like I said, we are simply going for a one-shot build here today, so we're not going to be doing any of that stuff. Next, we're going to take Bring It Down, a very important one, Methodical, Kill Streak, and finally Helm Smasher. If you would like to go with a more consistent build and not kind of bank on the 50% chance of Helm Smasher proccing, you can absolutely drop Methodical, use Blood Shield, and head straight for Flawless Execution. I always prefer Helm Smasher personally on all of my damage dealing champions, unless it's for content outside of player versus player. The next thing we're going to do is go down the defense tree for a little bit more survivability. I suppose if you want to try to inch out as much speed as possible, you can definitely go down the support tree. I would take health, then I would take exalt and death here. And since we're not dealing with debuffs and we are dealing with buffs in this champion, rapid response would be a fantastic choice for this guy, followed by Lore of Steel. And then finally, you could just take Spirit Haste because the other 2 aren't going to matter for this guy. But like I said, I definitely prefer the defense tree. But if you're just a little bit short on the speed and where you would want to be, rapid response in itself, even without the extra speed bonus that you would be getting from the 1 speed set, or if he's in a full speed set, you can definitely elect to go down that route as well. We are going to take Retribution for our final point, and this is going to be the masteries I'm using for this guy. Let's take a look at his total stats now. 5,100 attack, 271% crit damage. We're over crit rate by 4% because remember, we're getting 30% from the buff that he's going to apply to himself, and 228 speed. This is coming up and shaping up to be a powerhouse of a build for sure. Really excited to see this guy in action. And really quickly, we just have to stop and take a moment and look at this guy's aesthetics. Genbo the Dishonored, amazing weapon effects on this guy. Someone has to say it, right? This guy just looks amazing. He looks like a legendary, if I'm being honest with you. It's clear that, I don't know if those are Are those broken wings? So it does look like he has some type of broken wings on right now. Really, really cool look. Love the hairstyle. I'm not really sure what this is on his forehead. You know what we're going to call this? This is going to be the push to start button. You go into an arena, he's looking at his opponent, smacks himself in the forehead. This guy's ready to one-shot anybody in his path. And he's got this mean-looking neon tattoo on his face. His eyes are glowing. Listen, I just love this guy. He looks like he's an undead Shadowkin. He's got a really cool bird bone relic on himself. Amazing, amazing detail on this guy, but that's enough talking about this. Let's head straight into the arena and start demolishing some teams here. So we can already see Genbo being used in the arena here. So you know what? My Genbo versus your Genbo. Let's do it. We are not using Baron. We are not using any of these champions. We want Arbiter. Who else do we want? Do we want to run with the defense down? I mean, I guess why not, right? Let's just go ahead and throw our Void Affinity. I think she's +3. Is she +3? Let's include a Master Vault here. We're looking. Yes. We have Arbiter. We have Lydia. I'm probably just going to throw in a Sifi just because we can. Where's Sifi? Anybody? Anybody? Looking for Sifi. And there's... Ooh. This looks like the PvE Sifi. I don't know. It's hard to go by power because you never really know what you're getting into, but I'm just going to go with this and say it is what it is. Now we can deselect Master Vault. Look for our Genbo that's hiding here somewhere. We know he's ascended. Bam, right there. So we're using a better aura. If we do not have Arbiter yet, most of you are going to have Arbiter, but if you're a new player, this guy's perfect. You throw him into lead like this guy did, and listen, this is looking a little bit unfair. I can't do anything about it. My team power compared to theirs, it's just I've probably been playing 50 times as long as this guy. So let's do slow motion here and see how hard we are going to hit these champions here. Any guesses? Any guesses? I'm guessing like 100k. Okay, there it is, 100k. They did have defense up, so that's going to be something. I mean, some of the numbers I couldn't even see there, which is kind of unfortunate here. Let's go for a tankier team. Valkyrie's going to have a shield, so I probably don't want to fight that one. This one I will definitely fight though. So here we're facing a team, we're going for a defense down and weaken on these champions. Again, I'm looking for just over 100k on these guys, possibly even more. It looks like I have like no accuracy on my Lydia for some reason, or I'm getting extremely unlucky with having it land. Let me just check that very, very quickly here. I'm not going to go to shop, even though that is a free reward. She's in the vault, so I am definitely curious as to the status of her gear. And she's wearing gear. She has 441 accuracy. Why is this not landing? I don't know. Defense on and weaken, it should definitely be landing. Maybe it's getting cleansed because they're using that really good talent that pretty much everyone should be running for the arena. I think it's called Resurgent. Let's go ahead and try it off on this team here. Maybe we'll have better luck. We are going 1x speed so we can really see the numbers shine here. Speed boosting, increased attack. Oh, you know what? He's not using his increased crit damage. So for some reason his AI's, I don't even know what buff it is that he's sensing here. Really cool that I noticed that now. So we're losing 30% crit damage. Definitely not ideal. We're probably going to get one shot here. Okay, here's the extra turn. Now we just have to A1. Okay, 55k on the A1. Not too bad for sure. Let's put this on 2x speed. So it's quite interesting. I was not aware of this mechanic, and unfortunately I don't know what's causing it, but we're live in the video, so let's figure it out just in case you run into this problem as well. So we're going to start this on auto 2x speed. We're going to A1. Should we just A1 to see if it's... Yeah, we're going to A1 Arbiter. Let's just do Arbiter for now. Now we're going to wake Arbiter up. We have a counter attack going out here. Again, no debuffs landing there. That's unfortunate. And of course we get one shot because I don't plan things out properly. We're going to boost here, and then Trunda's going to kill me because I'm not paying attention. Let's see if we can do some damage with our Arbiter. No, definitely not enough damage. And then we're going to go here. We can't speed boost past Trunda, so let's just put her to sleep. What better move than to do that? Okay, we almost died there. We're probably going to die from Herndig unless I can outboost her. And that's definitely going to happen here. So that was a failed attempt to see what I could do here. Now we're going to increase crit rate and increase crit damage. We still have attack up, and here's the one shot. 127k. Could barely see any of the other numbers because the match ended so quickly. Alright, the next team we're going to face here and try to figure this out. Surely these guys aren't fast enough to cut me off and put me in any real danger here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with increase attack. We're going to A1, and now we're going to put it on auto and just see if he does this thing on his own here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he is still not using his extra turn. You kind of hate to see it, I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of annoying that he's doing that because this would mean you'd have to set a preset team now, and no one wants to do that. If you have preset teams, you know how it can be kind of a pain to set all of that up, so we're just gonna go in here and manual things all the way through, which shouldn't be how you have to play the game, but it's Plarium. We know how Plarium works, and there's not much we can do about it. Let's see if for once we get a chance to land defense down on weaken, or if they... Okay, so I'm just not going to get a turn here. I guess that's fine. Somehow 220 or whatever speed that I have, it just wasn't enough here. So we don't want to use the revive. Let's just end this battle. It really is hard to imagine that I picked the wrong Sifi, but it's looking like that is going to be the case here. So with that being said, I'm going to take this Sifi, swap her out, use the other one, and surely this one's faster. I mean, I guess I can double check really quickly, right? 160 speed. Thankfully I double checked. So what's this one running? 299 speed. How am I getting outsped by this team here? That's a really good question. What about your speed, Lydia? What are we at? 251. So these guys are just faster than me overall. This is where you can definitely run into a problem. Granted, they have a Lissandra. Lissandra is clearly going to be the problem here. So if I want to play this smart and not try to win the speed game, now that I've taken the longest detour in history to show you guys what this guy can do when he's properly using his A3 before his A2. So we have Sifi. What are we going to do? We are going to put Lissandra to sleep, let Arbiter go. Who cares? Lissandra misses her turn. Now we get this going on, and surely Genbo goes before what's his face. We're going to speed boost again just to make sure here, and yeah, we're good. So now we get the extra turn, and let's see what the numbers are looking like here. We are in 1x speed. 114k, 97k, easy clap on this guy. He's not a legendary nuker, but as far as epics go, this guy pumps for sure. He's gonna one-shot anybody. Like I said, my gear isn't the greatest on this guy. I definitely want more attack. He's heavily under the attack goal I'm aiming for sure. Even with increased attack, I think I'm missing about 1,000 attack from where I would want to be. And if I really wanted to change that, maybe I'd swap out the speed set for a cruel set, get that extra 10% attack from the attack bonus. But his base attack is also not the highest as well. I think it's about 200 attack lower than most of the greater nukers in this entire game, which is quite a significant margin. It is unfortunate, like I said, how we figured out that the A3 doesn't automatically go. I'm assuming it's based on the amount of buffs on the enemy team, which, like I said, it does suck, but let's go ahead and see the kind of damage we're going to pump with this single hit AoE. And couldn't even see the numbers. He attacks so fast. I think I left it on 2x speed to be fair, but this guy pumps. So this is your ultimate Genbo build. Copy this, use this, and enjoy. Free farming gold 4, gold 5, 3, 2, any silver you're in. If you have this guy in bronze arena, GG. If you're a new player and you didn't know about the Amazon Prime thing, congrats, you now have a fantastic nuker to add to your roster here. So let me know in the comments if you got Genbo from this event or if you already had him. Have you already been using him? Curious to get your feedback on that for sure. As always guys, if you enjoyed this content, click that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.